Hello, friends. We'll start with personality today.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes. So, before we start, there are a few things that I wish to tell you. First of all, personality is a very important chapter, not only from the point of view of our IGNOU exams, but also you can say it is the foundation of studying psychology. Okay, because if we wish to take counseling psychology as our as our optional, or let's say clinical psychology or even organizational psychology, it's very much important to understand how the people are, how the people around you behave, how the people around you present themselves. So for this, a thorough understanding of personality is very much important. uh, After that, next thing that we have to see in personality is that this not only gives us an insight into how people are, but also it gives us few methods by which we can assess various types of personality. So I would say that with one of the most important aspect of studying psychology is personality and the theories that we are going to study. How we are going to study a personality so that we can cover it in a holistic manner is, first, if we come to block 1, uh, chapter 1 and chapter 4 can be taken together because they are related. Coming to unit 2, we have to study it along with block 3, because whatever is there in unit 2 of block 1, the same things are there in great detail in block 3. So when we are going to study block 3, after studying block 3, we are just going to read unit 2 once, just to see if we have missed out anything. Coming to again chapter 3 of block 1, that can be studied along with block 4. So whatever they have mentioned in chapter 3, a great detail of it is covered in block 4. So after we have done that, then block 2 is a separate topic in itself. So block 2 again is very, very important. I would rather suggest that not to miss any of the class of block 2 at least, because that is the most important part of personality and of the reason behind studying psychology. When we are talking about psychodynamic theory, or let's say we are talking about reciprocal determinism, we are talking about humanistic theories, we are talking about let's say behavioristic theories, learning theories, etc. Very, very important. So block 2 is the most important part, and nobody should at least miss when we are doing block 2. So with this, friends, this is how we are going to cover personality. This is the last subject that we are left with. I'm trying we finish it soon, at least by 21 or 22nd, or max by 23rd, so that you at least have a week so that you can finish your assignment and you can submit. Also, I'll see whichever are the assignment questions, we'll take them up first so that you can at least submit your assignment, and then we can take some more time to complete the chapters. Okay, so starting with the first chapter, friends, definition and concept of personality. So, first we have to understand how did this word personality um, come into being. Okay, so now जब हम personality की बात करते हैं, we actually understand it as somebody who looks very attractive, who looks very good, who the way the person presents himself, or the way a person is dressed up, the way a person talks, or basically the way his exterior is looked up as the as his personality. But actually, friends, when the entire concept of personality was developed, it was not about the external, rather it was about the internal things. Okay, but why the word personality? So the word personality actually comes from a word called persona. So persona basically is a theatrical mask, worn by people in plays. So whatever mask you put on, that is the role you play. So बहुत बार you will listen, he is an introvert, he is an extrovert. So nobody is a pure introvert or a pure extrovert. But whatever role he is playing in that situation, he is known by that. Okay, so although the term personality is often understood in terms of social attractiveness, it is not like that. Personality, from the point of view of psychology, is how uh, how consistent you are in your behavior, how you deal with the environment, what are your traits that make you behave in a particular way, how nice you can deal with your environment, okay, the distinctive pattern that you have. So basically it is your identity, or let's say you can say it is a distinctive and unique ways in which an individual thinks, feels, acts, and this is how he remains more or less stable throughout his life. Okay, so personality, in as a definition, can be summed up as it is refers to all those relatively permanent traits, dispositions, or characteristics within the person that gives some measure of consistency to the person's behavior. So these traits may be unique, common to some groups, or shared by the entire species, but the pattern will be different from individual to individual. So friends, I hope you have understood that these are some of the traits, that is, these are inherent to a person, these are internal attributions of a person, and these traits will help a person, or this person makes a person behave in a particular way, and he remains, or the behavior remains, more or less stable throughout the life. Okay, so uh, these thoughts, feelings, and actions of the individual, they basically have three characteristics. What are those three characteristics? Number one, thoughts, feelings, and actions are considered as behavioral components of identity that make distinction between individuals. So basically, it means every person will not have the same thoughts, same feelings, or same actions. They will be different. Everybody will behave or act or think, that is common, but they will behave, act, and think in different ways. So these things make everyone common, but there is a uniqueness in the way they portray it. Okay. Second is, behaviors are viewed as being primarily caused by internal rather than environmental factors. It means the way you behave, it has got to do with the causes that are internal or that are inherent in you, and not environmental factors don't play a very big role in this. And last, the behaviors of the person seem to have some organization and structure, so you don't behave erratic. Okay, erratic, yes, sometimes you might behave, but every time there is a cause why you behave. If I have a fight with you, and if I go and abuse you, and you are going to either tell me not to abuse you, or if you tell me sorry, or if you retaliate back, all of this will have a reason, all this will have a cause. So we our behavior is very organized and structured. Now, personality also, many a times it is confused with character and temperament. Okay, many people think that it is the person's उसका nature ही ऐसा है, और उसका temperament ही ऐसा है, he is very hot headed, or let's say he is very short tempered. But character basically refers to value judgments. Okay, value judgments mean if you are ethical, what you are doing is right or wrong, what you are doing is appropriate for the situation or not. And term temperament means some of the inherent characteristics that you have, like let's say the way, how much adjusting you are, whether you are irritable or whether you are very calm, composed. Okay, this is not personality, but these things can be a part of the personality. Okay, so there, in that context, they differ a bit. Now coming to personality development. Okay, so there are large number of factors which influence the development of personality, but उन सब factors को we can group them under three criteria or three categories. And what are those categories? Those categories are biological factors, then you have psychological factors, and then you have environmental factors. So friends, these are very common things. ये आपने बहुत पहले भी आप ये सब आपको पता होगा, but let us just go through each one by one. So first is the body build. Okay, Under biological factors, we'll again study body build, physical attractiveness, homeostasis, physical defects, and health condition. So, body build actually gives us a clue about what kind of personality people would have. Okay. So, again, we have three kinds of body builds. They are ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph. So ectomorphs are persons who are very tall and thin um, in their body build. Okay, so you can see that those people will be a little superior to endomorph, who have little softer body build. They're little round and they are short. And mesomorphs are strong and muscular in their body builds. So जो ectomorph होते हैं, they have a lot of speed and they have a lot of flexibility. Those who are endomorphs, they are not that speed. They don't have that much speed. Sometimes they're termed as lazy also. And जो लोग mesomorph होते हैं, they also have a lot of agility and a lot of endurance. तो यहाँ पे what they wish to say is that the way your body is, that is how you would get certain compliments, or people will tell you about your body, people will judge you on the abilities you have, and then your personality is shaped around that. Okay, so biological factors or body build, or let's say the way you have maintained your body. You are born with a body build, but then the way you maintain it, that shapes your personality. The next is physical attractiveness. So physical attractiveness, I hope all of you understand, okay, the way a person looks. So an attractive person of any age is more appealing than a person who is unattractive. So friends, here again, this is very subjective, because who might look attractive to you may not look attractive to somebody else, but they have just taken it as a generalization. And it has been found that people tend to be more tolerant in their attitudes and judgment of an attractive person. So इसीलिए sometimes you would have seen a child who is very cute, or who is very pretty, or who is very beautiful, is less likely to be punished or criticized for troubled behavior than a child who is not very cute, or let's say a very homely child. Okay, also in business circle, an attractive worker may be less efficient and less conscientious, yet he is likely to get a promotion sooner than the unattractive one. Okay. Then third, under body factors or body physical factors, they talk about homeostasis. So what is homeostasis, friend? Homeostasis means it is a stability in your body. Okay, so let's say a stable temperature, or let's say um, stable internal environment, having normal temperature, normal level of blood, normal level of blood pressure, etc., etc. Okay, so homeostasis again is also, a factor where um, the effect of homeostasis is seen in relaxed, controlled, and socially acceptable behavior patterns of the person who is feeling well, both psychological and physically well. तो अगर आप कभी देखोगे कि अगर होम्योस्टैसिस ही किसी इंसान का बिगड़ा हुआ है, और let's say the homeostasis is not maintained well, then a person will feel irritable, there will be indigestion, there will be loss of sleep, and that will result in very bad behavior, and that will lead in very poor dealing with the environment. Okay, then disturbance of homeostasis, why does it happen? It happens because of faulty lifestyle, bad diet, because of excessive stress, etc. So also they have given here if results of few studies, and they say that some studies have clearly shown that development of personality is affected by homeostasis or lack of it. So let's say agar if your blood sugar level is too high or too low, let's say your stress level is too high or low, your if you are in depression, etc. So all of this will cause some amount of issues with the person, and he will become very irritable, and he'll feel very uncomfortable, and that can cause emotional outburst, mental confusion, and self criticism. Okay, so all of this will actually reflect in his behavior, and then he might develop a very bitter personality. Okay. Then after this, friends, they are talking about physical defect. So what are physical defects? So physical defects means, here physical defects would mean actual physical disabilities that people have. Like, let's say if somebody is unable to hear, if somebody is unable to see, some visual impairment, some hearing impairment, etc. Also, uh, organ inferiority. On organ inferiority means, if let's say some organ is not very well developed, a person has a hand, but let's say he has deformed fingers, okay, or let's say a person is too tall, too short, too fat, too thin. So many, it just proves like an impediment in their um, growing up. Okay, so that could be a physical defect. So if people have some physical effect like this, what happens is that they feel very small before others, and they would always suffer from an inferiority complex. They would want to withdraw from social situations, and staying alone or staying aloof will actually make them feel very low of themselves, and that will also reflect in their um, behavior. Similarly, friends, health condition. Let's say the health condition of a person is not good. As you know, nowadays, the lifestyle that we are living, the food that we eat is not pure. The lifestyle that we have is so conflicting, and sometimes there is a lot of dissonance. We know that sleeping late is not good, but we have no choice, because because nowadays you see our entire work, our office has been shifted to WhatsApp, has been shifted to email. So we don't have a boundary, or we don't have a fixed time of our office. Earlier, when if you talk to your father, or if you talk to somebody who was working in any government or private sector before 20-25 years, they would tell you that office closes at 5 or office closes at 6. But today, if you ask somebody, even if you yourself or you ask somebody who's younger to you, they would say that we don't know when the office closes. We are working 24 into 7. Whenever we get a mail or web message, we are working. So these things are having a very bad effect on our health. Okay, we are not sleeping enough, we are not eating enough. Maybe we are eating too much, we are eating at the wrong time, we are not eating the purest of foods, we are not having a good sleep, we are not having a good mood, we don't have good relations anymore. Our relations are restricted to messages, face to face contact, writing letters, feeling something for somebody. All of this has considerably reduced, and to add on to it, we have more noise now, we have more traffic now, we have more pollution now, we have less space, and we have more heat. So you can see, it's a deterioration of the environment. Okay, and that deterioration in environment has, along with bad diet, less exercise, has added to our problems, and they have manifested in bad health conditions for us. Okay, so because of these bad health conditions, now you can also see, people are dying more of heart attack. Then there is delayed of many symptoms in our body, etc., etc. So all of this has led us to lead a very restricted life, and all of this has also left us very much alone in our, it has restricted us. I'm just giving an example. As say 20-25 years pehle, you would see your grandmother, grandfather would be so much interested to actually go and visit these pilgrim places, Haridwar, Vrindavan, etc. But today you see your father and mother, by the time they reach 60, they're not in a position to walk properly also. So all of this has actually made us very bitter, made us very sad, withdrawn, and very depressed, and all of this actually reflects in our behavior, and that is how we are also dealing very faultily with our with our environment. Okay, so this reflects in our personality. Then next, friends, after physical factors, we have psychological factors. So what are psychological, friends? These are very simple things that we all know, but we must read, because they'll give us an example of how personality is being developed and also being changed now. Okay, so under psychological factors, we have intellectual determinants, emotional determinants, self-disclosure, aspiration, and achievements. So, friends, what is intellectual determinants? Intellectual determinants is the way we evaluate, the way we judge our environment, the people around us. Okay, that has a great meaning, that has a great contribution to our life and also to our personality. Okay, so if you are always engrossed in your work, you are not taking out any time for yourself, if you are not looking beyond the creations. Okay, we are so busy with creations these days that we don't look at the creator, and I think that is a very big disconnect for us. We are so much engrossed in material things, we are not looking up at that who has given us the energy and the intellect and the ideas to create these material things. Okay, so that has, made us so much detached from everything. So this intellectual thing, this intellectual connect is very much important. Okay, so they have a lot of studies that has been done on this, and they have seen that intellectually bright men and women make better personal and social adjustment than those of average or below average intelligence. This was one study. Also, they have seen that those people who are bright or who are intellectually very strong, they're introspective. Exactly what I was telling you: introspective, thoughtful, creative, adventurous. Introspective means you look within yourself and you try to evaluate, or you try to think, how have you how have you done so far, what is that thing that you need to do. Let's say many a times you would, let's say, I'm assuming everybody can feel this. Let's say कि अगर आप एक boss हैं and you have scolded or you have just reprimanded your let's say somebody who's working under you, uh, definitely at any point of the time in the day, maybe in the night when you are absolutely alone, कहीं ना कहीं आपको थोड़ा सा फील होगा, यार इतना नहीं बोलना चाहिए था. Why do you feel that? Because you're introspecting, because at that particular moment you have put yourself at his place and you have thought that he's also a human being, he made a mistake, I could have also done that. So if I scolded him so much, if somebody else would have scolded me so much, how would have I felt? Okay, so these introspection, who does intellectually strong people does. Everybody cannot do do this introspection, or everybody cannot feel this much, how bright men and women would feel. So this is these are few of the studies they have done. These people who are intellectually strong, they also have wider interest in theoretical and aesthetic areas. So all the abstract things, all the abstract concepts about life, beyond life, how life came about, all of this. And they have stronger mental ability, they have better control over themselves. Okay, also they have superior intelligence, and they will always have a um, lot of tolerance for people. They will try to understand the situation as it is. Okay, so these are some of the intellectual determinants. Then we have emotional determinants. So friends, as I told you, there's a word, we'll study all those words when we are doing counseling, and also when we are studying psychodynamic. The word is neurotic. So neurotic is somebody who's emotionally unstable. So see, everybody will feel emotions and will feel disturbed due to certain things, but there is a limit. Let's say we hold a get together of all the students of Psychomagic Institute, and then suppose we forget to invite you, anybody of you. Now you will feel that for 1 day, 2 days, let's say 3 days, but after the fourth day you will get busy with your life and you'll forget about it. At the max, what you can do is, maybe if there is any other invite that's coming to you for any next event from Swapnilji or from me, maybe you will avoid that and you will forget about this entire, that once you were a student of Psychomagic and it's done for you. But that is what would be a normal reaction. But there would be some people, let's say, who are neurotic, they will feel bad about this event for days together, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. And sometimes it can accompany with bouts of crying. They'll cry because they'll feel so left out. They'll feel that this is the most not more than the worst thing that could happen to them. They'll call us and they'll tell why we did this, and they will want us to apologize to them. You understand, no? This is a very exaggerated form of emotional outburst they will have. Okay, so again, emotional determinants are also very much important for the development of personality. So uh, there is some research that has been done, and they have shown that several aspects of emotion, like dominant emotion, emotional balance, emotional deprivation, excessive love and affection, emotional expressions, emotional catharsis, emotional stress, they're all directly or indirectly, they affect the development of personality. Friends, what is catharsis? Catharsis is basically when you are venting out your emotions, and you're venting out in a in a very nice way. You are actually, like, let's say you want to, it's very much similar to sublimation, whereas sublimation is an ego defense defense mechanism. We'll study about it. But आप ऐसे समझो, you are very emotional at the moment, but what you have done, you have vented that out into a poem or into a story. So that is like catharsis. Okay, you're feeling very good after that, after venting it out. Now, yes. So friends, all those people who have um, control over the emotions, or who are emotionally balanced, they will have very good personal adjustment, and also they will have a very good personality. But all those people who feel very left out, or they have very exaggerated, you can say, emotional outburst, they will always feel very left out, and that will have a very huge impact on personality, and again that will have a very bad bad effect on the personality. Okay, then friends, they have given you some research and all. Just go through it. They're not tough, just go through it, because every research will not be possible to be discussed here. Very simple research they have given, that they have done some research on emotion deprivation. So what is emotional deprivation? Where you are not allowed to feel something, you are deprived of it. Okay, so they have done some research on that. Again they have done some work on excessive love and affection. So अगर excessive love and affection हो तो क्या होगा? A person will be very emotionally dependent. तो अगर that person जिसके ऊपर वो dependent है, that person is not around, uh, then the person who is dependent will feel very lonely. Again, can feel very um, very ignored, left out, neglected, and that will again show up in his behavior. Okay, so he also might repress his emotions. He might have it as an outburst later. He might, you can say, not be very well adjusted. His diet, his sleep, etc., may suffer, etc. Then self-disclosure. What is self-disclosure, friends? Self-disclosure is, um, you can say like this, it is generally, whatever you feel, let's say whether it's good, bad, whatever, you are expressing it openly. Okay, you are not keeping it inside you. So many a times you would see people, or even counselor and therapist would suggest that don't keep things hidden inside you. uh, talk out, or talk to people, have a lot of social support, because that is going to help you to vent out your feelings. The more you keep it inside, the more it's going to eat you up from inside. Okay? So there was a very nice message that I had received 2 to 3 years back. It was like this: ki, this was the quote written in front of a person, of a heart surgeon. Okay, so it was written in Hindi कि अगर दिल खोल लेते यारों के साथ, अगर दिल खोल लेते यारों के साथ, तो आज उसे खोलना ना पड़ता औजारों के साथ. Okay, so it means if you would have opened up yourself, talked to your friends about whatever you're feeling, you would have vented it out. It would not have made you weak, but you never did that, and it made you weak. So today we are actually, since you are having heart issues now, we now actually have to operate it, or open it up with equipments and etc. Okay, so this is what they mean by self disclosure. The more the more you are able to express yourself, the more you are able to, um, you know, um, vent out your feelings, anxiety, frustration, jealousy, whatever it is. The more you are open, the more healthy you will be. Okay. So this was self disclosure. Then aspiration and achievement. So friends, इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है. They have just one. They have given a lot of repetitive stuff. आप एक बार ये देख लेना. But वो बस ये इतना ही बोलना चाह रहे हैं that everybody, जितने भी लोग हैं, aspiration is somebody that every person has in his life. Achievement is what everybody would want to do in their life. So aspiration and achievement is there throughout the life, and people keep on striving towards it. Okay. लेकिन कभी कभी वो लोग बहुत ज्यादा उसके पीछे भागते हैं and they forget their basic roots, they forget their basic focus, and that leads to a lot of emotional disturbance for them. People also commit suicide. आपने देखा होगा, there are so many students nowadays who are not able to clear competitive exams and they commit suicide. Similar, because they are very, very achievement focused. They are very, very focused on getting something. They feel that after this, a world does not exist. But ऐसा नहीं होता है, friends. These things are not the end of the world. These things are just bend of the world. So you would see so many other things that are coming your way, but people are so much focused on achievement, and I have to get this. If I don't get this, there's no use of my living, etc., etc. So this is what they have written. You just go through this once, and they have written that whenever a person is absolutely sure that I will receive this, but he still does not receive, then there is a discrepancy in reality and imagination, and there he feels very betrayed, he feels like a failure, and then he takes extreme steps. Okay. Then next, friends, is goal setting. So again, just like aspiration and achievement, you have some goals in your life. You have set the goals as per your own abilities and your interest. Okay. So you know what I can achieve and what I cannot achieve. You know yourself. Okay, like let's say I like psychology. I can I can strive to be a very good psychology student, a psychology teacher, or a psychology researcher. But I can't say I can do mechanical engineering this well, because that is not my interest also. And somewhere I feel that I am not, I don't have that knowledge also, I don't have that interest also. So why people, how should we set our goal? So we should set our goal which has three components. Number one, which is realistic, which is measurable, and which gives us happiness. Lekin the environment around us, especially let's say our family, or let's say our teachers, they set very unrealistic goal for us sometimes. Okay, they tell that, what if you are not doing good in maths? You try, आप अच्छा करोगे and you will take up engineering. But they must understand कि maybe वो बच्चा वो नहीं करना चाह रहा है. He is very good in literature. He wants to do that. But no, you must not take up literature, or you must not take up this thing, because science, or let's say engineering or medical, is the most in thing now, and you should not deviate from that. Okay. So these goal settings, when it is done as per the aspirations, as per the abilities, as per the realistic nature, as per the satisfaction of the person who is doing it, then he will achieve it, and he'll also have a very healthy personality. But let's say it is done in a very unrealistic way, it is done to satisfy some ego, it is done so as to teach somebody else a lesson, it is done as in a father wanted to be an engineer, he could not become, so he's forcing now his son or your daughter that you have to be one because I could not be one. So very, very sad, friends. It's very sad. You'll see, if you meet such children, you'll feel so sad. They will be very sad for two things. One, they will be sad because they could not do what they want, and second, they would always tell you that when I used to be a career counselor for some time, those children used to come and they used to tell me, मेरे age के बच्चे, the children of my age or my classmates, they're doing so well because their parents let them do what they want. अगर मुझे भी करने दिया होता, I would have also done so well, but they pressurized me into taking something, and this is why I'm not able to do anything, and I feel so low, I feel so frustrated. Okay. So again, goal setting also has a direct bearing on the personality. Then, friends, we come to environmental factors. So, what are, friends, environmental factors? So, we will read about social acceptance, social deprivation, um, and educational factors. These three we will study first. So, what is social acceptance, friends? If will study that in humanistic psychology anyway. But आप एक चीज याद रखो कि a person, there is a person called Maslow, and he talked of 5 stages, um, जिसमें a person is motivated to do something. So at the bottom stage, he talked of physiological needs. तो physiological needs में hunger, thirst, sleep, sex, ये सब आते हैं जो कि हमारे bodily needs होते हैं. ये पूरे होने ही होने चाहिए. Only then we will think of achieving something. तो इसके बाद जो next stage होता है, it is safety and security. Then we have love and belongingness. Okay, if we are not loved, if we are not accepted, if we are not respected, so what will happen, friends? You will feel so empty in this society. Just imagine you are studying outside, you're working outside, there's a festival, and you are coming home. मैं आपको एक example बता रही हूँ. You come home and you see that actually nobody was waiting for you. आप नहीं भी आते, it would have not mattered to anybody. आप आए भी, it didn't matter to anybody. आप आए, you got down at the bus stop, there was nobody to receive you. Okay, maybe they were busy, that's what you thought. You came home and there was nobody at the door, and when you actually, आपने bell बजाई, and then whoever came to receive you, he had the most coldest response. Oh, तुम आ गए, अच्छा आओ. See, you feel so sad that I took out time and everything and I came, but here nobody is excited as I am. So why do you feel sad, friends? Because you are not accepted or the reaction is not that strong. Similarly, everybody in this world, every human being, since man is a social animal, he needs social acceptance. He needs acceptance from his family, from his friends, from the groups he joins, from the society. If he gets that acceptance, if he gets that love and affection from all these groups or all these people, then he feels very good. He feels that I'm so much loved. If tomorrow something happens to me, people will be there for me. But मान लो, if people don't accept him, if people treat him as an outsider, if people keep him away from all the plans and programs that they make, then the person will feel so broken. Okay, so an extreme opposite of social acceptance is social isolation. If a person is rejected, if a person is kept isolated, then definitely he'll feel very sad, he'll feel depressed, he'll feel lonely, and all these negative emotions will show up in his behavior, and that will be very detrimental to the development and maintenance of his personality. Also, friends, he can go on to become an antisocial personality and also may show violent and aggressive behavior. Then, friends, social deprivation. So what is social deprivation? Social deprivation means एक इंसान को whatever opportunities or let's say uh, chances that he should have got, he is deprived of it. He's not given those chances or those opportunities or those privileges that he actually deserved. तो अगर किसी के साथ ऐसा किया जाए, then it means it will be so hurtful for that person. It will be so insulting for that person, and again the person will become very bitter, and all these negativity will bog him down, and that will reflect in the way he behaves and the way he deals with his environment. Then educational factors. So today, at least these days, education is the most important thing. And if you have education, if you have knowledge, that is power. Okay. So you would see all those people who are well educated, they're respected a lot in the society. People look for them, people ask them, take this, ask them for suggestions, people involve them in decision making, people give them a sense of power, they also control a certain section. But if a person is not educated, if a person is not aware about the things that is happening, definitely he will not be included in any group or in any social setting or anything, and he will feel very sad, he'll feel very aloof and withdrawn. So again, a very detrimental aspect. Then family determinants, friends. So what is family determinants? Family determinants is how are you treated in your family. So agar aap, let's say you are treated very well, if the parents are not very, if, let's talk about a parenting style a bit. So let's say parents are very strict, demanding, very punitive, that is, they punish the children, and they are very suspicious of children's behavior. So such children will be very impulsive, and they'll also turn out to be very violent in later years. But let's say parents are very, very cordial with their child. They understand what the child wants to say. They respect the child's interest, or they respect the child's viewpoint. Such children will turn out to be very friendly, very accommodating of others' opinions, and they will be very warm and gentle. Okay, so this is why family and the family environment. If let's say always parents are fighting, and elders are always very authoritarian, or let's say there's always a lot of unhappiness in the family, definitely that's going to affect the family members and also the children in the family. Then emotional climate of home and ordinal position. This I've told you, the emotional climate. Let's say the mother is somebody who's always staying quiet, she's always depressed, or the father who's very violent. All this is going to have a very negative impact on the child. Also, friends, ordinal position. So, what does ordinal position means? It means the order of the birth. Okay, तो फर्स्ट बॉर्न कैसे होंगे, सेकंड बॉर्न कैसे होंगे, थर्ड बॉर्न कैसे होंगे. तो अगर आप देखोगे जो फर्स्ट बॉर्न होते हैं वो बहुत जल्दी बड़े हो जाते हैं, बिकॉज दे get more time to interact with the elders. Okay, so they mature, they emotionally mature very fast. They're very understanding, they're very tolerant, because after a certain period of time, when the second born child comes up, they also act as a half parent to them, let's say. Okay, जो second bonds होते हैं वो बहुत competitive होते हैं, because they always see that the first child is ahead of them, so they're always competing to catch up with them. जो third born child होते हैं, they know that whatever I do, I cannot catch up with the other two, because वो बहुत आगे जा चुके हैं. So instead of working so hard and trying to catch up, let me form very good relations with everybody in the home, so that even if I don't catch up, I can compensate in this way. So you will see जो third born या last born, let's say, होते हैं, they are very, very close to the parents or to the family members. लेकिन जो first born होते हैं, they are expected to act in a very matured way and take care of their siblings, etc. Okay. Also, आप ये देखोगे तो first borns होते हैं, they basically achieve greater success than the later born siblings, because जो later born siblings होते हैं वो थोड़े से सेल्फिश होते हैं, सेल्फ सेंटर्ड होते हैं. व्हाई? बिकॉज उनको बहुत ज्यादा अपने बारे में सोचना होता है, बिकॉज दे आर कॉम्पिटिटिव एंड दे डोंट वांट टू लीव एनीथिंग टू देयर सिबलिंग्स. ओके, उसके बाद फ्रेंड्स नेक्स्ट वी कम टू, इसमें फिर और थोड़े थोड़े सी चीजें दिए गए हैं, आप एक बार इनको पढ़ लेना. जैसे यहाँ पे दे हैव आल्सो गिवन यू वन थिंग, दैट मिडिल बॉर्न और सेकंड बॉर्न जो होते हैं, दे फाउंड टू बी जनरली लेस फैमिली ओरिएंटेड एंड मोर peer oriented. Okay, so they are very popular among their peers in comparison to the first or the last one. Then size of the family, definitely friends, size of the family जो है, that also has got a lot to do with how the personality develops. Because if the size family size is too big, then the children will not be able to get a lot of attention, and because they will not be able to get a lot of attention, so sometimes they will not be able to grow up as very calm, gentle children, because they'll always be fighting among themselves for resources if the family is very big. So whether it is a material resource or whether it is a psychological resource, as let's say attention, love, care, or let's say trust, they'll always have to take it or extract it from the parents or from the caregivers. But मान लीजिए size of the family is small. Here size of the family, let's say only one sibling or maximum two sibling, and the family is not too large, then love is almost equally distributed. Again, comparing with joint family, nuclear family, in joint family, there's a lot of guidance that the children can get. So they'll always remain occupied, so they will not go into doing any much ज़्यादा mischief नहीं करेंगे until and unless they get a lot of love and affection and they're getting spoiled. They will always remain they'll always remain occupied, and if there are elders who are giving them good advice, teaching them good things, telling them good stories, then they will turn out to be very good children who are brought up in a very nice environment. But मान लीजिए it's a large family, there's a lot of scarcity, there's lots of fight, and lot of um, scolding and this and that. So those children will turn out to be very, very afraid to ask for things. They'll turn out to be very bitter in later life. They'll turn out to be somebody who does not trust others. They'll turn out to be somebody who's not happy or satisfied with what they have got in life. So this is what happens when the size of the family is big or small. Okay. So in the end, we can say the development of personality can be explained with the combination of factors. That is, when physical determinants, psychological determinants, and environmental determinants are combined together, and they give a very healthy, they form a very healthy relationship, and they form a very conducive environment. Only then the development of personality will happen. So friends, with this we finish chapter 1. There is no time. We will not do chapter 4. We'll do it tomorrow. So tomorrow we will finish chapter 2, unit 4. And also we will start block 3 and block 4. We will complete them first because you have got some assignment questions also. So however we do it, I will mention it in the group, and that way we will take it up in the class. So thank you friends. We'll have a short class today since will not take up much, since it's Dussehra. You'll also be having some other work. So we'll meet tomorrow. I'll post the time in the group. So thank you friends. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good
Happy
night.
Dussehra.
Happy
Happy
Dussehra.
Dussehra.
Yeah.
Happy Dussehra to
Happy
everybody.
Dussehra, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy Dussehra.